welcome to my channel. So today I'm going to share my latest obsession, which is making journals out of these. They're listed as catalog envelopes on in Amazon. And as you can see, I've tea dyed them and I've pulled apart the this bottom part here so I can use it to fit these together, and I'll show you how I do that. But first I want to show you the journals that I've made. This is the first one I made, which I absolutely love. And I want to point out a couple of things about this journal that I really like. Well, it's just one of my favorite things is that it is so stuffed with items, tags and tucks and just all kinds of stuff, but it doesn't do the alligator mouth thing. Granted, it's tied, but even when it's not tied, it doesn't do it. It kind of pops out a little bit. And as you can see, of course, it's an accordion type of configuration. Now, I got the idea for this because Meg Journals is doing No Sew November, and Steph at Hilltop Journals, she also is doing that same challenge. And I thought when they were making their journals, I thought, well, what if I tried making them with these envelopes and see how that turned out? And it was just, like I said, I'm obsessed. I probably made 4 of these already, but I've only finished 2. But here we go. Excuse my fingernails, please. I've been doing a lot of tea dyeing, and that's just, I don't like wearing gloves. So here we go. I'm going to go ahead and do a quick flip through and talk about a few of the features, and then I'll do the tutorial. And if you want to go straight to the tutorial, I'm going to go ahead and put timestamps in the description box, and then you can go ahead and follow along that way. So first I'm going to do the flip through, then I'm going to make the journal, and I want to do some decorating, but I think that's going to be in another video. So I just thought I'd throw that out there. So mostly what I've been using in these journals also is a lot of stuff that has been kind of hanging around for a while. I have containers and containers. Hold on, let me grab one for you real quick. So I have just a ton of these types of containers. These are photo keepers, large and small, and I have a ton of these just filled with things that I've either cut up. These are all fussy cut. This is kind of my insects container. And then these are a bunch of images from children's books. But I have just tons of these containers filled with ephemera. A lot of it from leftovers from the ephemera packs that I make for my shop. But yeah, I've really whittled those down by making these journals. And I've got a few other journals I'm working on, but that's a different video. So needless to say, I've got a lot more room in my craft room. So let's get to the flip through. Let's see, which way do we want to start? I think I want to start going in this direction. So this is something, I think that Margaret on Seven Plaza did this particular project. And what I have in here is just a little envelope that I made from one of Tracy Fox's digitals. And these are some items from a journal that I cut apart, and then I kind of made tags and put them in my shop for an ephemera pack, a curated art ephemera pack, and I had a lot of them left over. And so I decided to put some of them in here. Oh, I seem to have, let's see, I don't think that, oh, that is just a little tuck spot. Yeah, just a little tuck spot. All right, I thought it was a pocket that came apart. But yeah, that's the first one. And these are really thick once you start putting tags and such in there, So having it in a journal like this, it's just ideal. I love it. And then I have this particular thing that I've done. Oh, wait. Does this one have a tag? Yeah, I think this one has a little. Let me see if I can get this put together again so I can show you that top part. I'm kind of all over the place. This is one I made several weeks ago, so I'm kind of forgetting a few of the features. But this is, because it's an envelope, you can make all kinds of tuck spots and all kinds of little areas to put things, and I'll show you that in a minute. But yeah, this is a, let's see now. This is from an index card journal that I made years ago. And because I'm running out of room in my house to keep tons of journals, I've kind of condensed them in a way. but that could be a journal spot. And then this is a little tuck spot right here. I don't think I haven't written anything in this journal yet, but I have lots of fun tuck spots. Another tag. A cluster I made a few months ago. Finally has a home. If you notice, the theme in this is going to be kind of clown circus kind of stuff. That's a oh, who is that? Oh yeah, Toulouse-Lautrec. And then just a little collage, another tuck spot. Hold on. Like I said, it's an accordion, so sometimes I grab it in the wrong way. Another cluster I made. Let's see if I can get this squished down a little bit. There we go. And then another, let's see, I'm going the wrong direction. Okay. A little collage, another tag spot, another tuck spot. This one I did a lot of tucks. This was my first one, so I was kind of playing around with all the different ideas. Let's see. For some reason, I'm having trouble figuring out, like, how did this go? I'm having there. Maybe that'll work. Hold on. There. I think that this kind of got into this little tuck right here. Another cluster, another tag, and then you flip it. That's the back. Another tuck spot. Another tuck spot. That's the tag from the other side, but you can see it on both sides. Some collage. Another tuck spot. Let's see. There we go. Okay. Another tuck spot. And this is something that I made. I think this might have been a Shabby Dabby Doodah project. But see, some of these are so thick when you put them in your regular journals. It just makes them, it makes my journals at least do that horrible alligator thing. And so this has really just been so much fun for me to play with, because I can put anything in here that I want to and I don't worry about that. And then there's the front. Let me show you the other one. Oh, and this one I made a tie for, which is super cute, super fun. So I tie it up, and then it just sits on my shelf. It doesn't fall over. Yeah, I love it. Okay, let me show you the other one real quick. Hopefully this won't take very long. This one, I don't know what the theme was. I'm still using things up. I'm making new things. This was so fun. So I took just a bunch of strips and I just put them on paper, on some cardstock that I had printed some graph paper on. And that was just so much fun to make. There we are. Okay, just some collage and not as many tuck spots, but I can go back and make the tuck spots when I decide to use this to put my journaling in. So I didn't really want to just cut it up like I did the other one. I was just experimenting with that. This one has a tuck spot that a printable. Here. And then the other side. And this is something that I started doing. Instead of just using the, see if I have one now. Instead of using the whole pocket, I cut down the middle and made a pocket, made a tuck spot instead of it going in this way, so you could put things in going in this direction. That was really fun. And then I just kind of did a little cut here with I think it was you can use scissors to do that. I use rounders and different things, so yeah. And this one right here, I kind of went a little bit deep on my cut with my punch. And so I took the piece that I cut off and I just stuck it on the little cards so that when I put it together, it kind of made up for it. It's kind of cute. It's kind of fun. I really enjoyed making this one. I really did. This was my second one. That's the back of that one. Another little pocket. These are images from a poster I bought years ago at a paper store that had been sitting in containers for many, many years. And I didn't want to cover them up. I just thought they were so cute. So I decided, you know, just put them on there. They don't have to be background. They can be the whole art piece, right? This was fun. I was having a lot of fun with color. Little pocket. And I happen to have a bunch of these pockets that are the perfect size for these journals. I found so many things that are the perfect size for these journals. I was really, really amazed. Another pocket. I really like making these pockets. Those are fun. And that's the end. All right. Okay, so let's get started on the journal. So what I'm going to need to make the journal is 7 of these, what they call on Amazon, catalog envelopes. So they're also called clasp envelopes. They have the little metal things that can go through a little hole with a grommet. But yeah, that's what they call them, catalog envelopes. So what you'll need is 7 of these envelopes, and they measure, let's see, what do they measure at? 9. So they measure at about 9 by 6 when they're closed. So if you look for these, I'll put a link in the description box for the Amazon, the box that I bought from Amazon. They're a little pricey. You can get a package of 8 of these for $1.25 at the Dollar Tree. They have the metal clasp, but you can either put a piece of tape over that or you can pull them off. So if you don't want to have 100 envelopes to try to figure out what you're going to do with like I did, yeah, just buy them 8 at a time. I would recommend that. So you're going to need your envelopes, scissors, a brayer or a bone folder, glue. If you want to make thumb notches, go ahead and grab a circle punch. And then these are just decorative pieces. I'll just put those to the side for now because this goes pretty fast. So these are self-adhesive. So how I start mine is, oh, I forgot. The first thing that you want to do on this one's fine. This first one, you don't have to do this. But in order for these to fit nicely, hold on, let me get this opened. All right. When I tea dyed these, I pulled these off after I tea dyed, and so it's kind of made some of them stuck together. I'll have to fix that. But if you put these in here, as you can see, I'll show you. You can't really get them all the way in without crunching these 2 pieces right here. And what you want to do is you want to snip those. I'll show you how I do that. I'm going to do all of them. I'll go really fast, but I'll show you how I just take a little bit of that off. Let's see if I could do it. I think I did it, yeah, like this. And then just like that. That way, when you put them in there, it goes all the way in like that. And it just doesn't wrinkle it up as much. It makes it a lot nicer. So I'm going to go ahead and do that to all my envelopes, and I'll be right back. So as you can see, you're only snipping off just these little bits. There, very small, but enough to help those fit together. Yeah, I didn't need to do that one, did I? No, I think I did, yeah. So the first one, let's see, I think it's this one. Okay, this is the first one that I didn't snip. So I peel that off. Let me get some of this off of there. And then I slip it in there. And I try not to go too far in because I want this to be able to bend, right? And then I just press. So I'm going to do all of these, and then I'll see you on the other side. Okay, so one of the things that I forgot to mention before you start putting them together, is to fold them. I'm showing you how I'm fixing my mistake. I haven't done, this is the first time I made this mistake, to be honest with you. But I just wanted to let you know that I really, you know, it really is a better idea for you to fold these before you start putting them together. So I'm showing you what happens when you don't do it. So one of the things I also want to point out is that at least the way that I've chosen to do this is to fold it to where the cut, hold on, let me show you. There, all fixed. That this part that's adhered together is on this outside. That's how I've chosen to do it. Now, I don't know, I haven't done it the other way to where I fold it in that direction. I've only done it in this direction, and it seems to work. So I'm not gonna mess with perfection. Not perfection, but you know what I mean. I'm gonna go ahead and fold these the way I should have. Let me show you how I do that. I close the flaps, and then I get them to meet up at the corners. Yeah, that was quite, you know, I told myself, be careful, don't do that, and there I go. Sometimes I just jump into these videos without really thinking things through all the way. Okay, let's get this started again. It's also a good way to do it because you run out of room. I'm using 7 envelopes because that's what works for me. And but you can go bigger, smaller, doesn't really matter, whatever suits you. I just stumbled onto that number and it's working for me. As you can see, these are pretty grungy with the tea dyeing. I did I think the first one I did it with, I didn't tea dye them. I just did the distressing with ink, and it was just so tedious. I decided that it'd be better just to tea dye them and then see how that worked out, and I like it a lot better. But you can grunge these up with distress inks however you want to. That works too. There. I mean, this part right here is like almost like 10 minutes. And then you have a nice, then you have a nice accordion journal. Now, you want to flip it. Let's see, I think I'll go in this direction because you want to glue these flaps down. There's nothing going on. Let's see. Yeah, you could have a pocket there if you wanted to. So if you decided you wanted to have a pocket there, you could glue this in here like that, and then you have a pocket, right? So I'm going to actually do that because why not? Let's try it out. But one of the things I wanted to point out is that I made the mistake recently of making one of these and then gluing them kind of like this instead of flat. And then it kind of did this weird wrinkly thing in this spot. So I recommend gluing these down flat. This is just a dry wipe. And then if you don't get all the bits down, you can go back later and just add a little bit more glue in the spots. It's just easier than adding too much glue where you've got it coming out all over your workspace. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this. First, I'm going to give it a little crease. I haven't done this before, so it's going to be kind of interesting to see how this works out. Okay. It's going to get a little glue on stuff. Oops, a little tear. Oh well. Being a little rough with it. Okay. Give it a wipe. It's been my experience that if I do a little tear like that, it's super easy just to put a piece of tape in there. It's not a big deal, you know. Here's a pocket here. Now here's a pocket here. I'm going to go ahead and glue the rest of these and then show you some of the other tuck options. So getting these glued all the way down on the edges here is not, to me, crucial, because I'm going to be putting papers on top of these. So this right here is an option where you can either close it and then make this a tuck from the top, or you can close it this way and make it a tuck from the side. You can do all kinds of stuff. There's like several different things you can do with this particular accordion journal. Because I don't like the way that looks, I'm going to go ahead and close this one up. It's kind of tatty looking. Okay, so the next step is to adhere. What I've been doing is adhering these pages onto these as my background. These are, hold on. Okay, so these are cut at 4.5 by 5 3/4, which is the perfect size for each of these panels. And I just have a random assortment of book pages as my backgrounds, just to, you know, give it a little, you know, just to get it prepped so that when I'm ready to work in it, it's ready to go. So I'm going to go ahead and glue all these in, and like I said before, I'll meet you on the other side. I'm just going to use my go-to. This is just matte Mod Podge with a little bit of water, which is making it a little bit too watery. So I'm thinking about, you know, not doing that anymore. But matte Mod Podge seems to work really, really well for me. It's inexpensive and easy to find. So okay, so I've got all of my paper pieces glued on. So I need to say something. I'm going to put it in the description and also a little blurb at the beginning when I started this. These pieces are 4.25 inches by 5 3/4. I said 4.5 or 4.5 earlier, but it's 4.25 or 4 1/4 inches across for these. So now what I want to do is kind of figure out where I want to have my tags. So I'm trying to keep, you know, as you work with this journal, you can change your mind. You can glue bits together, say, is this the side? Yeah, I think this is, yeah. So you can glue this down, or you can cut it, or you can clip it at the top to put a tag in, glue this and put the tag in here, or there's lots of different options. However you want the whole thing configured is really up to you. But I'm going to try to keep my tags at 3 per journal, you know, coming up off the top. You know, the top loading tags, I'm going to keep those to a minimum. I'm going to keep those at like 3. And I could change my mind later. So what I would like to do, though, is... So one of the things that I forgot to mention, and luckily I did this correctly. So let me show you something real quick. So when you look inside here, you'll see that the... oh, goodness, hold on just a minute. So let me show you with this one. That's one I prepared earlier. So as you can see, let's take this one right here. If this was going to be, say this one was going to be a top loading tag pocket, you want to make sure that you adhere your papers going in this direction. Let me show you why. Because as you can see, this is glued on this way, and what you want is to be able to put your tag in to where it's not going to catch on that. So you want to make sure that when you're putting these pages on, that you have the orientation to where this is on this side, and on the inside, as you can see, it's going in this direction. so you're not catching this part right here on your tag. So if you were to do it this way, excuse me, if you were to do it this way and have your tag top loading from here, it will catch on that over and over again. So that's something to kind of pay attention to. Luckily, I didn't have that problem. To be honest with you, if I had to re-glue all my pages upside the right side or whatever to fix it, with these journals, it doesn't really matter how thick you make them. It seems to work out. But I just wanted to throw that out there, that pay attention to the orientation of this particular part of your envelope so that you're not catching it with your tag. Hopefully I made that. Hopefully that made sense. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to randomly pick 3 pages to clip the tops of. Now, just to let you know, I prefer to put my papers on my pages like this before I start clipping, because clipping and then trying to get that page on there straight and on that little, I've done it before to where I clip the page to make the top loading tag, and then I have to try to figure out like how to configure the piece of paper to go on there to make it look right. I just don't have the patience for that in my life. So let's see. Now, the other thing that I want to pay attention to here, I'm going to try to go slowly enough to make sense. So here, yeah. So as you can see, it's only on one side of the journal that you have this option because of the way I put it together. Now, there may be other ways that I might later on flip-flop it to where I have these going in both directions or whatever, but right now, this is working for me, so I'm not that too terribly worried about the fact that these are only on this side. On this side, it's flat. There's nothing going on, except for this one. Because I did that, I made that flap go in there, I made this into a side-loading pocket, so that actually worked out really well. I really regret that tear right there, so I'm going to have to figure that out. I'm going to go grab some tape. So this is some of the faux age tape that I like to use. It's just a printable, and I printed on clear label paper. And I'm going to try to fix that tear, because it's really bugging me. I'm afraid I'm going to forget. And I want to show you how, hopefully show you how easy it is to fix. Hopefully I'm not going to mess this up. Let's see, get it in there. You know, I don't know if I necessarily have to go inside. Hold on, let me go on the other side. Let's see if it'll work better there. And this label, this clear label paper is actually stronger than cellophane tape, so that ought to be fine. I can fuss with it later and see if I can get it better. But yeah, because it's still a little bit wet. It's still just a tad damp, and I'd hate for that to tear even more. So let's go back to what I was doing, which was looking at the different. So what I don't want to do is I don't want to clip the top of the these side loading pockets, because I want to use them for side loading, and I have plenty of the ones that don't have that side loading feature. So this one would be good. It can be a little bit cumbersome, but that's about right. And then, so we have our top loading pocket, but we have to clip this. So there's several ways of doing it. You can either just get a pair of scissors, and I am not a perfectionist when it comes to these, or you can use a knife. So these knives you can use, I like to go a little bit bigger, but I always seem to go kind of crooked on them, so I don't trust myself using these as much as a pair of scissors. Let's see if we can do this. There we go. And if I go off a little bit and I make it a little bit crooked, I just clean it up with my scissors. It's really not a big deal. Okay, so here we have a top loading pocket. And then I make these, I make these tags to order, you know, for the right size for these. Let's see, what are they? Let me measure this real quick, just in case maybe it'll make it a little easier for you. 3.5. These are about 3.5 by 6.5 inches. And they fit down in there pretty well. Now I'm going to have a couple of these kinds of things where I would prefer that was glued down. So, you know, after you do the initial construction, you can go back through and kind of find little bits that might need to be glued back on a little bit, you know, from the way that the adhesive from the envelopes are. So just play around with that. I actually have a lot of fun kind of playing around, trying to figure out what I want to do. So let's find another one. That's a side loading pocket. This is a pocket from the other side, so I don't want that. I should mark that. I don't want to keep checking that. Okay. Here's another option right here. Try to make it even. And then sometimes I like to have one on the very end. And this one's a pretty good candidate, so I think I'll do that one. And I'll cut those later. I already showed you how I want to do that, so don't want this to go too long. Okay, we're done with that. So for the side loading pockets, what I've done there is, let me show you. Here, I'll move that. Move a few things out of the way. So I've marked on my punch how far I can go to where I'm going to get the right size circle that I want. Because this part right here fits in there. This thin part fits in there. This is my punch. A lot of punches, this one part is smaller than the others, and usually it's the top that's thicker. That's been my experience. But because I can't see what I'm doing, you know, see, I've made that mark there so I know where to stop, no matter which side. That's a nice thumb notch right there. And I don't know if I want to make thumb notches on all of these side loading. I might decide that I don't want to have anything in there. So I'll just do 3 just to have. Uh-oh, did it the wrong way. It actually fit in there pretty good, didn't it? It's just that before, I don't know what I was doing earlier where I just could not get it in there right, but this time it didn't seem to be that bad. Okay, that's about even. And seems like there was one more. Was it on the other side? I think it was that one. Okay. See if I can do this not up in the camera to crack your eardrums. Let's see. About there. Yeah. And what I'll do is I'll go over this carefully with some distress ink just to give it a little definition. And that's the basic journal. Okay, so I'm popping back in because there was something that I forgot to show you before I closed out my video. I forgot to show you how I make the pockets. So here, let me show you real quick. This is how I showed you in the earlier part of the video. But there was this one that I really enjoy having. And it's super simple. Cut a straight line. I'm not too bothered by it being perfect. I'm going to use this type of punch for the corners. Let's see, I like that one. And then just take a little bit of glue, get it down in there, then go try to get up along the edges here. There we go. Let's see. Okay, I think I got it that time. And then press down. Make sure that if there's any glue that pops out like that, just wipe that off. And what I'll do is I'll just kind of put something in there, like a piece of paper or some cardstock, just to keep that from gluing this part down. And that way you have a nice little tuck. So I'll go ahead and I'll do some inking along here, you know, just to give it a little definition. It's kind of cute. And then I'll decorate both of them. But it's kind of fun to have just a fun place to put some journaling, a journaling card, a postcard, whatever. So I don't want this to go into overtime. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a second video on how I do some of the decorating. I'll show you some of the ephemera and some of the just kind of the bits that I add to these journals, just to, you know, it's a nice way to kind of set them up so that you can get in there and you can start doing some decorating. And as I've been doing this, I've found quite a few videos that I want to try out what they're doing and put it in my journal. So it's fun to have it on hand. You don't have to finish it all in one go. You can keep working on it. I have actually a couple of these on the go at the moment. So yeah, I hope you like this video. If you have any questions, please ask in the comments. I'd be more than happy to answer any questions. Please give me a thumbs up. I really appreciate that. And until next time, have a great day. Bye.